So this would be, I'm trying to think now, is this like your third or fourth film with Christopher Nolan?
Well, people are saying fifth, but you know, I only pop up in the Batman things a little bit. So.
Yeah. Do you find now, like I said, that this is, I say, your fifth film? I mean, do you find that you have much more, I don't want to say control, but you feel more comfortable working with him now than you might have done, you know, the first time out?
Well, I think the reason people re-collaborate is because you build up a shorthand.
Sure,
you build up a level of trust. And that's really it, you know, and you can go straight to the work. So hopefully there's that kind of simpatico between Chris and the people that he collaborates with, and it's as simple as that. Really.
In terms of the dialogue, because I know like it's quite short in the film in terms of, you know, the actual speaking parts, and it's more kind of about action and reaction and so on and so forth. But for you, I mean, do you find, I know some actors find that quite inhibitive, the fact that there is less dialogue because it's less chance for them to emote and get into a scene. Was that the case for you, or did you enjoy the fact that there was?
Yeah, I'd be in the other camp. I love it because, like, you know, modern cinema came from silent film, you know, and that was, we'd watch a film for 2 hours with no dialogue, and so therefore it's kind of pure cinema. If the majority of your film is silent, but it still can elicit sort of emotional reactions and stuff like that. So no, I love it, and you know, I come from theatre, you know, as well, so the idea of being able to kind of play a character purely physically, not that mine is, I mean, he is quite verbal, but like, you know, that the chance that you could get to do that to a degree is very exciting. Yeah.
I mean, did you find yourself cutting back on dialogue? I mean, like, were you doing takes that had even less dialogue, or was it just?
No, it's pretty much as scripted. The thing about Chris's films is like there's never any extra scenes or cut scenes, because it goes from his head to the script to the film, and like there's no cutting of stuff or rearranging of scenes. It's exactly as you read it on the page. So no, I mean, the text is pretty much as scripted. I mean, a little bit of massaging here and there, but like it comes from Chris's brilliant mind, you know.
But I'm thinking, you know, for you, like you say, you come from theatre, and I'm wondering, I mean, do you find that not inhibitive, but I mean the fact that it's so rigorous, that it's so like a clean process, like from his mind to the script to the page. I mean, do you have any input in that, or are you just replicating the text? Like,
well, what you want as an actor, or certainly what I want, is to work with people with strong visions, you know, and you can't find anybody with a stronger vision than Christopher Nolan, you know. I mean, he's written, produced, and directed this, you know, thing, and it's kind of phenomenal. And you know, it is still collaborative. Like, we spent a lot of time on the phone talking about this character and talking about how to pitch it, and he just kind of left me off to go and do my research, and then bring my research to him and say, look, I've thought this, and this might be appropriate, so what do you think? So yeah, I mean, there is absolutely scope to collaborate, but you want to work with someone who is that.
They'll guide you.
Yeah, or just has, I mean, he knows exactly every frame of the film as he's shooting it, you know, which is so comforting. You know? Yeah.
In terms of the research, though, I mean, were there any performances that you drew upon? I mean, was there any kind of film or, you know, theatre or play or anything like that you've kind of watched or drew upon to give you a sense of the character?
No, I don't really go to other performances for inspiration, really. I did a lot of research kind of about soldiers that had shell shock, and that was kind of what sort of informed it mostly.
On that, I mean, what did you do? I mean, did you meet with, you know, PTSD survivors, or?
No, I didn't. I mean, I wanted to try and sort of, because there's a lot about it nowadays, obviously,
of course,
but back then they didn't have a clue. They didn't really know how to treat it, and the symptoms were so kind of bizarre. Like, I read about this one soldier who actually went blind for no physiological reason other than the trauma made him blind. So that was the power of what they had seen. So they were you kind of have to interpret it as sensitively and as kind of, I don't know, as carefully as you can. Really.
On that, I mean, the character himself, and without kind of giving too much away, but I suppose there is a sense, possibly, or it could come at it insensitively and say, like, he's a coward. I mean, for you, I mean, how did you approach it in terms of approaching it without judgment? I mean,
well, you just answered the question.
Yeah.
You approach it without judgment, and you know, who's to say how any of us would behave in whatever situation? And the whole thing about it is to try and make it human.
Yeah.
and truthful and honest, and people react in very different situations when faced with trauma or faced with conflict or violence or whatever. And I found really telling about this character was that you see him in a flashback as this capable, confident, in control officer, and then you see him
reduced
to something, and you don't know what it is that has made him into this state. So it was very I thought empathetic, and a very sort of and the way Mark Rylance's character treats him, it was very telling, I thought. So I thought it was just dealt with very sensitively. And
did you and Mark Rylance have much kind of back and forth in terms of how the interplay between you, or was it a case of no, we'll work it out on set?
I mean, yeah, we rehearsed, and obviously Chris was always there, but Mark Rylance is such a fantastic actor, and I have such admiration for him. So yeah, we talked about it, and we worked it on the day, and yeah, it's very, very focused work all the time. It comes together very quickly.
Yeah, cool. Okay, have to leave it there.
Cool.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Nice
Cheers.
one.